This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelly Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here. Well, hello, friends. Thank you so much for joining us for another conversation, which just so happens to be our final conversations together here in 2025. I am joined with my girl, Taylor. Taylor, how are you closing out this year?
I'm really good. I would say beyond the sore throat that my 9-year-old so kindly gave to me at the end of this year. I'm doing really well. I feel like, if I'm being honest, Kelly, we talk a lot about being workaholics, like a little bit, but I've been kind of coasting over the last few days and have not opened my laptop very many times. So I'm feeling very well rested and ready to barge into the new year. I don't know, full swinging. I don't know if that made any sense, but.
No, it's funny, feeling well rested. And I don't know if those listening feel the same way. For me, sometimes I feel like I get overwhelmed and I'm like, I need to take 2 weeks off of work. I can't do this. I need a break. When actually in reality, all I probably need is an afternoon to myself with no children and to run the errands that I want to do and maybe a massage. And then I'm good to go. It only takes a little bit for me to take that rest and recovery and then hop back in, because I start getting a little antsy. I don't know if you felt this way, Taylor, from my text messages, but I was kind of spurring up some new conversations for 2026 for you. And I'm already have my sights on for that. And we just ended our Mastermind program last, what was that? Wednesday with our students. Yeah. So I did have some heavy lifting of some more one-on-one feedback to give the students over those 3 days. But then all it took was one day for me to be removed from that to be I'm ready for the next one.
We are planning out our 2026 calendar here at Level Up. We have some really exciting things coming at you down the pipeline starting in January with some new stuff. We just sent over an email to our newsletter list yesterday. Was that yesterday? All my days are starting to blend together during this winter break time. And so if you're not already on our newsletter and you want to be receiving emails from us with little behind the scenes updates, looks into our personal lives, and more education, I would say. Sometimes we give the newsletter additional value beyond what the podcast receives. You can go opt into that on our website, thelevelupco.com, and receive a weekly little love note from Level Up to you.
Yeah, we love doing those. And people have told us too, you can reply to those. We read every single message. So if you hit reply to that newsletter and want to tell us something or share a little bit about how your season's looking or what you have going on in your lives, we love it. We don't feel like you're a burden whatsoever or bothering us. We crave those replies and we read every single one and we reply to every single one too. So please continue the conversation with us beyond the newsletter when you receive those in your inbox. All right, this episode, to close out the year, we kind of wanted to do a Level Up Wrapped, similar to Spotify Wrapped, where we want to wrap what we had going on this year. And if you're a longtime podcast listener, or if you're a new podcast listener, maybe you're learning about some things that just, were launched this year through Level Up. And also shout out to anybody, if you're listening, if you tagged us in your Spotify Wrapped as being one of your top 5 podcasts, thank you so much. That's always just so great to see. And we feel so good about that too.
Yeah, it's so fun. We say this, I would say semi-often, but when we record these, it's just Kelly and myself over a video call. And because it's a one-way street, there's no real way to hear who's listening to the podcast. There's really no analytics to dive into. So every time someone says, oh, I loved this episode about this, or you mentioned this, or even sharing the Spotify Wrapped, it kind of fuels us to continue going as the podcast. The podcast does not earn any revenue. This is something that we do because we love our community. And so it's always nice to hear a little bit of feedback. But wow, what a wild ride for 2025. So much happened. Kelly, as you kind of stated at the beginning, you have some notes prepared. So I'm going to toss it over to you to get us started.
Yeah. Okay. I did write some notes down yesterday afternoon. Paul took my 2 older kids down to San Diego to kind of start the Christmas traditions and go golfing with his brother. So I had the house semi to myself only with the 18-month-old, which kind of feels like they don't count when you have older ones that like take so much of your time. It feels so easy to just have like one with you. So I was able to kind of gather my thoughts. Let's go back to January 2025. You and I both attended Kindred. We were roommates. We went to Palm Springs, and Kindred is an invitation-only networking conference. And we attended that like for our primary wedding brand. So we did that. For Level Up, I think just a week after, we launched the Revenue Multiplier, which if you are around, if you're a part of our community, you know that our signature program is the Luxury Mastermind. And we run that twice a year. And it's an amazing coaching program. And we've seen so many transformations through that program. We could go on and on. But we created the Revenue Multiplier because we wanted something as a next step for people, or for people who are interested in diversification in their revenue. To be totally honest, Taylor and I have seen leaps and bounds of changes in our own primary filmmaking businesses because we had multiple revenue streams and we were able to make more calculated risks in our businesses because we weren't like booking out of like scarcity or like, booking for a number. We were booking for a strategy now because we had the padding of additional revenue streams. And I love the Revenue Multiplier because it can be however you want it to be. It can be as small scale as you want it to be, or build it out into something ginormous. There really is no cap to it. And when I started my diversification journey, which was launching a digital product, Illume Lutz, the reason why I started it was simply just to offset childcare. We had just had our first son, and I was very humbled by the cost of childcare in 2019. And I was like, okay, if I can just find something to offset what we are now paying for as an additional expense in our household, such as childcare, that would really mean so much for us. That would do so much for our household. And so it can really start there. And then once you kind of start one thing, it just kind of snowballs and you get really excited and you see how much diversifying your income can really change your life. And at the forefront, your primary photography or videography business. Anything else to add on the Revenue Multiplier, Taylor?
Yeah. If you're not familiar with what it is, it's an all-in-one course where we teach you basically how to, from conception of the concept and the idea of which stream you want to pursue as far as diversification, through digital products, education, which Level Up is an educational brand, so something like this, or corporate commercial work. We help you do everything from inception all the way to marketing and delivery of the products or services. So it's like really an A to Z course. And we love it. And I will just add that a lot of people, well, I feel like I remember receiving a little bit of pushback, like why not just book a couple extra weddings? And there's some reasons why. Like we have to cap our calendars in order to provide the level of service and can like keep the level of sanity that we need in our lives. Like if once you hit that level, that number of weddings, you can close out your calendar. But sometimes it's too much to take on one more wedding, be gone one more weekend, undergo like one more wedding's worth of editing, but it's easier to do other lines of work. Like, you know what I mean? Like your brain isn't fatigued from the same thing being scaled. Like you're doing something else, or doing something where it feels slightly more passive. I'm a true believer that there's no true passive source of income, but it can be less of a lift. So I feel like that was like I'm really proud of that course. I want to say over 6 weeks, we scripted, recorded, edited, and uploaded it. And it felt like such a sprint. But I'm happy that we got it out.
Yeah. And we still have that offering. So if you go to thelevelupco.com/revenue, you can find the program in there and enroll. And it's a self-paced course. It's amazing. If you're a videographer that wants to step into corporate commercial work, but you don't really know the etiquette or the ins and outs on how to do that, I walk you through it. Paul also like helped me a lot through it. He's like the primary, I would say the primary person in Westmade Films, which is our corporate commercial brand. Or if digital products is something you want to do, even just a small guide that you just want to sell for $35 to bring in additional revenue. Like we give the A to Z, how we did that, how we saw success, how we built what we've built in all of our different offerings. So, okay, moving on from revenue multiplier. Now we're fast forwarding to March. In March, Taylor and I had the extreme privilege to be able to speak at Kinetic Experiences, which was in Santa Barbara. And that was a really amazing and exciting thing. Taylor, it was a little nerve-wracking. Our very first time on stage together in front of a live audience.
It was fun. Actually, I want to do it again. I would love to speak more in person. I feel like I don't know. I love speaking on a virtual stage as well. We host lots of free workshops. We host our mastermind. And so for all intents and purposes, Kelly, we speak in front of an audience a lot, but there's something different about it being live in person that is really exciting. I remember my hands were like shaking before we walked onto the stage. I was so nervous.
And even afterwards, we got off and like instead of going and like sitting back down in our seats, we like excused ourselves to the foyer. Just like, we were like, okay, meet me in the foyer. Like we just need to come down from that high of like all of the adrenaline buzzing through our bodies.
Yeah, it was fun though. It's really fun to like look out into an audience and see people making eye contact with you. Like they're actively listening and like soaking in all the things that you were saying. And I don't know, I think it's really nice and really fun. And I think the wedding industry is filled with some of the best people, like so encouraging, so uplifting, so positive, and I feel like it's a great place to like get your feet wet when it comes to public speaking.
Yeah, you feel so supported and
Yeah.
like you said, people engaged and just actively listening to you. Okay, on a personal side, my daughter turned 3, my son turned 6, and then my youngest turned 1. So like in our family over here, the Gilster household, all of our birthdays are smashed into like 4 months. And so we hit like a birthday marathon sprint from like the end of February through beginning of June, which like ends on my birthday. And so the little ones are growing up. Wild to be like doing all of these things while having like semi of a newborn, not even a 1-year-old yet. But yeah, that was great. And then Taylor, what about you and your kiddos? What was new with them in that world?
Yeah, our birthdays are more scattered. I'm trying to think back. My birthday is January.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Lucy turned, oh my gosh, 7 in March. Avery turned 9 in May. Avery and my husband's birthday are on the same day, so that's always fun. She was born on his 35th birthday. So we always like dual celebrate on that. And then Katie is all the way in December. So we actually just celebrated her 4th birthday last week, which was really exciting. And we went to what we like to call the Rat Casino for the 2nd year in a row to celebrate her birthday. And if you
You
don't know what
know,
that is, it's Chuck
the
E.
Rat
Cheese.
Casino, Chuck E. Cheese, for those who don't know, it is literally the best. Micah's already had one birthday at the Rat Casino, and every single time he asks for it again, I'm like, we can go do other places. Like we did a trampoline place for his 6th, but he wanted to go to the Rat Casino. So they have something great going on over there.
I love it. Katie doesn't have friends quite yet, like her own friend group, but now that she's going to be going into TK this fall and being in an intimate class size, I know this is like next year her birthday, she'll have a bunch of people that she wants to invite. So we haven't done a formal Chuck E. Cheese sanctioned birthday party for her yet, but we did one for Lucy a few years ago. And I don't know, does your Chuck E. Cheese do this where they step into the glass box or like the plastic plexiglass and like the
Yes.
tickets fly around and they catch
Yeah.
them? So fun.
So fun. I love it. I'm sad that they got rid of the band though. Even though it was like the creepiest thing ever, it's like so nostalgic.
Yeah. Katie, so she's 4. She loves skee ball. That's like she just stands by the ball machine and plays over and over and over again. And our Chuck E. Cheese might be a little dated because there's one skee ball machine where it's like an infinite glitch where like you don't need to even scan the card. Like every time the 10th ball hits the rack, they all automatically just come out. So she just stands there and we don't have to like swipe a card.
Oh, that's amazing. So you probably don't even have to like buy a card for her if that's like her main thing.
We still do, but I don't know. It makes it easier and less annoying for us because she doesn't, I don't know, she's not paying attention enough to swipe it. So we get to kind of be hands off. But
Love
anyway,
that.
send us a DM if your children also enjoy the Rat Casino. We would love to know.
They serve wine there now too. So that's another 2-drink max. I mean, we're not getting lit at the Rat Casino, but They keep it under control, which is great because everyone's driving their kids home anyways afterwards. So that's probably for the best for everybody.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Going back to Kinetic, that was my first time in Santa Barbara. And then when we were, so you guys, we have a new series coming out on the podcast later, like the spring of 2026. And we recorded it in the car to Santa Barbara again. And during that podcast, I said, "This is my first time in Santa Barbara." I completely blacked out about Kinetic. I totally forgot that we were in Santa Barbara for that.
I know
So,
you definitely did black out. We just had so much going on, honestly.
yeah.
I'm not even like halfway through my list. We're continuing on. We had branding photos done for the very first time.
This year?
Yes, in January,
No.
right?
No, that was like November 2024.
Oh, okay. Then I'm getting it confused with we also got a new website done.
There we
So
go.
we launched
Yes.
that new website with
Mhm.
all of the branding photos. And I feel like that's when we like truly were able to like really implement the branding photos and stuff.
Yeah, which I feel like we need to do another shoot.
For sure, because I've lost all my baby weight. So please, thank you. Yeah, 2025 was a year of like Taylor had her 2024 glow up year, and I was going for 2025 to be mine. And so I was still fairly postpartum. Yeah, so November, if we took those in November, May, June, July, August, September, October, I was like 6 months postpartum.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
still like very solidly in like the trenches of postpartumness. So,
things
yeah.
were still puffy and it was all good though. I was happy that we got those done. And I still really love those photos. Like Christina Adams did a great job. Shout out to Christina Adams who did our photos for us.
Yeah. I love them too. I like the vibe. I like the way she edited them. I like our outfits. Like I love the house that we rented, the whole thing.
So
Mhm.
fun. Okay, then we launched 2 rounds of Mastermind. So we did a spring Mastermind program, which was our 12-week program. And then in the fall, we launched it again, and we had 85 students inside of that fall program, which was amazing. We had um, we had photographers, we had filmmakers, we had. Do we have a content creator in there as well?
I think we had a content creator, and actually, something that I thought was really cool is we had a family photographer who doesn't even do weddings.
Yeah.
And she joined us and she loved the program and actually opted into our alumni program as well. So I feel like that was really telling as far as what the program can do for people and who it's truly for. I think Kelly, sometimes you and I put ourselves like in this like neat little box of serving. First, it was filmmakers, and then we expanded to photo and film. And
Yeah.
I think what we do actually applies and can be really, really helpful to so many more people than what we actually think.
Yeah, that's true. Because we've had makeup artists go through the program and they've really loved it. And we get like DMs of their wins that they've seen through the program. So yeah, and honestly, I would say this round too was so interesting as well because we even had a few people who were already booking in the 5 figures, but they're wanting to get to the higher 5 figures in their business. So they were already booking weddings in like the 12 to 15K range, but they're looking at like, okay, cool. How can I adopt and implement the systems that Taylor and Kelly are teaching and then be able to get to like the 20K and the 30K and all that? Because with our experience and like where we're priced at filmmaker wise, we're actively working with photographers who are charging in the mid 20s, mid 30s, mid 40s and above. So we get to kind of see like the ins and outs of how those things operate on an internal level and on a wedding day experience level and so on and so forth. So that was really cool to see. I feel like this round had the largest range of those who were charging, we had people in the program that were charging $3,000 upwards to $12,000.
Yeah. No, totally. And I mean, sometimes I feel like we sound like a broken record, but the same principles are going to apply. It's a business program. So if you want to scale your business, it's going to help you, especially if you have your eyes set on becoming that premium option in your local market or go into the full-fledged luxury space. And quick little plug, you guys, I promise this whole podcast isn't going to be an ad, but we are pre-enrolling for our spring 2026 mastermind. We already have a few people who've signed up, and the first 10 people who pre-enroll will get a bonus one-on-one call with Kelly or myself. So you can grab your spot at thelevelupco.com/mastermind if you want to join us in the spring of 2026. We start in March, so we're really excited.
Yep. Okay, another big thing that I feel like we didn't celebrate ourselves enough, Taylor, was formulating League.
Oh
Do you
my
want to take this one?
gosh.
So we did a beta round of League. So League is our networking community. So very different than Mastermind, very different than our alumni program. League is like its own beast. It's a whole community for photographers, filmmakers, planners, honestly anybody. But currently, like we have 150
29. 129.
129 in League right now, and we meet twice a month. And we have cultivate sessions, we have connection sessions. It's allowing our students to be able to do breakout rooms where they get to meet with wedding planners all throughout the country. There's a lot of education on there when it comes to networking, not so much business coaching, but more of like, hey, I need to get in the room. Which rooms do I need to be in? And how do I maximize my networking efforts to be able to see an ROI from doing those things? It's one thing to just like sign up and go to something and then go home at the end of the night, but like how are you actually like going into it with a strategy of who you want to meet and who you want to better connect with, and then how it's so much of a strategy after the fact too. So we walk all of our members within League through that education wise, and then help pinpoint where they are in their business on there's so many things that they could go to. Like there's Kinetic, there's Interested Company, we have Landlocked Luxury, Engage. Like there's great things for every step of business that you're in, and also which markets you want to primarily be working into. So we kind of help, guide your marketing dollars in the best way possible, because we want to ensure that you're going into it with like full transparency and with a plan. Not enough people go into networking with a plan. And so League really helps with that too. Anything else to add about League? So wait, first of all, we did a beta round. We did like beta testing in June, and then we launched at the end of July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to talk about how League even came about. Like, that's kind of a fun
Yeah.
story that I don't even think we talked about. So, I still have a notepad somewhere from Belmont, Santa Barbara, because that's where Kinetic took place. And it was something that was provided to us to take notes throughout that conference. And in the car on our way home from Kinetic, or on the way back to the airport, I guess, for me to fly out from Orange County, we schemed and planned up League. And I would say we brainstormed what we wanted it to be, what the like monthly, I would say like value was to people in there, how we want like the structure to look. We mapped out all kinds of things on this little notepad, and it's fun. I still have it, and I think I'll keep it forever because I think it's really cool to see the progress from some notes and a vague plan and what you are hoping for something to be, and then seeing it all the way through to like fruition. And then we're going to scale it over the next several years. And I think it's one of those things where the more people in League, the better it's going to get, because there's more people to connect with in there. There's more ideas being bounced off of each other. There's more value being brought forth by members. So it's fun. And then even like coming up with the name, I think we came up with the name for League, like voice memoing back and forth, like different ideas.
It's so true. I know. It's been so cool to see. And like, we're just getting the ball rolling on League. Like, it's only been an offering for what, like 5 months now, coming up on 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. No, I'm so proud of us for this. I mean, it's its own business, kind of.
it is. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's what we didn't understand as we were driving home from Santa Barbara, just jotting down a notepad. We were thinking, like, oh, this is just like an extension of Level Up, but it actually is like its own business entity, which I think is been something like Taylor and I have had to like continue to process on like how like we need to pour into it, like just on our weekly time spent within League as well. So it's amazing. If you're interested in being a part of it, you can apply, and you can go to the levelupco.com/league, and you can apply on there. We like currently, like we have it closed for a bit. Then we open up applications. You can always apply, right, Taylor?
Yeah. So for this first 6 months, so all the way through the end of 2025. So This is going live on, what is it, New Year's Eve, the day before New Year's Eve, something like that. So applications have just been open. So we've been inviting people to apply whenever. And I would say every like 24 to 72 hours, I've been getting back to people. Some people who apply, I think, are a wonderful fit. And then I'm extending an invitation when I feel like that's the case. And some people I feel like it's not the best fit for, maybe based on geographical location. Because League is primarily US based. I mean, there's a lot of people doing destination weddings in Europe, but you're going to see the most ROI if you are based in the US, if we're being completely honest with you, or based on level of business. So we are looking for a certain threshold when it comes to the market that you're serving, as far as like the level of event. And so when it's not the best fit for somebody, I'm guiding them on what maybe they should do before League could become a good fit for them. So moving into 2026, we are going to do a doors open, doors close, kind of similarly to how we run Mastermind, where once a quarter, we will open applications up for a set period of time, and then applications will be closed. Just to make sure we are pouring into League just as much as we are adding people into League, right? There's going to be a balance there. But now we're getting out of like startup mode when it comes to League and having people join. And so that's something new for 2026, where it's going to be like doors open, doors closed.
I would say another big highlight for Level Up for me was being able to have the one and only Jose Villa speak to our mastermind students. He is such a pleasant human being. I just love him so much. And it was such a huge honor for him to say yes to pouring into our students and, partnering with us, like in a way, to be able to do that was so amazing. And so we had him speak to our students in September, and that was so highly valuable. And I think it was so helpful for students to see too that like everyone's so normal in this industry. Like even those at the tippity top, and I feel like those at the tippity top with zero ego, like Jose, it's just so comforting for students to see that. And it doesn't feel like, they're like out of reach for them, We
Yeah.
got so much feedback after the fact that was like, wow, he's so down to earth and he's really funny. And like, they just loved it.
Yeah. No, I think it's one of those things too, where like the bigger the ego, the harder it's going to be for you to grow. And the more humble and normal you are, like the easier it is to scale. And we've seen that a lot. We bring in some of the very top people in the industry to speak to our mastermind students. And I feel like that is a through line with everyone we're bringing in, where they're just people. I like to imagine, you guys, like they're in the car drop off line to like drop off their third grader, and none of the parents at the school even know who they are or what a big deal they are in the industry. Like I imagine that all the time.
Yeah. Like I feel like we like really celebritize, if that's a word, like
Mhm.
these creative partners that like sit way, way high up. But like if you go to the T-ball game and you're around a bunch of like parents that like don't live in that world, they probably don't have any idea.
They have no clue. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a privilege it is to be friends with Jose and Joel too.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that I'm missing along the way, Taylor? Because my final one is us like attending Engage. And then I wanted to go into like even just some like primary business stuff. Like I was really proud of my average for this year. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where do you want to take it?
I launched a website business, which was exciting for me. By 5 Design House. So show it website templates, and I'm doing some like semi-custom design work where I'm customizing or yeah, customizing templates for students primarily. However, anyone can work with me, I guess. Which is welcome. That sounded really weird. Like, but that's been really fun for me. I mean, at the beginning of this episode, we kind of talked a little bit about like you only have so much capacity for any certain type of work. And sometimes looking into different streams of revenue, different types of work can work better with your life because it's not tacking on more of the same. Sometimes it like helps scratch an itch on different parts of your brain, honestly, and that's kind of what it gave for me. I'm a big project person, and I need to always be creating something new. That's like part of my personality. I feel very discontent as a human if I'm not working towards something completely new. So yeah, that kind of gave me something. And it was actually probably poorly timed because it was alongside building League, which was a huge undertaking. But I'm proud of it and I'm happy. And as far as I actually part of the driver for me wanting to do website design as well is I wanted to kind of showcase that the tactics we teach within Revenue Multiplier, because it's a digital product, right, that I'm providing. The tactics we teach inside that can be applied to what Kelly and I are doing too. So yeah, I launched a profitable website company with those tactics in mind. So
I'm so proud of you. I feel like you just tinkered. I was on the website a couple days ago because I was pointing a student that I was doing some review work for. I was pointing them to your proposal template, and I was like, this looks kind of different. Maybe you've built out a few more templates, and I don't know, the website just looks like more robust than like initial launch.
yeah, I to use the word tinker, I do just kind of tinker here and there. I mention all the time that I love just like my little 5 a.m. mornings with my coffee and my laptop and tinkering away. And once I run out of level up stuff to tinker on, I move on to other things. And that's one of my things. So yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be 2026. There's no plans on the horizon to launch anything new per se, and so, ooh, I'm gonna have to work through that, the no newness.
Maybe it's gonna need to be like a new hobby for you.
It's not fun unless it makes money, Kelly.
Okay, that's fair. That's really fair.
But you know what? I was thinking, I want to teach entrepreneurship to my kids. And so I've been kind of researching different things that they can do or like ways to instill that in them. And I know how to make like hair bows. Like you just like buy a bunch of ribbon and then like the claw, like little claw clips and like make, I think that would be kind of cute for them to like, I don't know, like sell to their friends. Or Lucy's going to be playing softball this year. And so when you're out at the field for tournaments and stuff, I feel like Avery could like set up a little shop. Like we bring a little card table. I don't know. So maybe I will pour into like them and teaching them about like managing money and like making a business plan. I mean, she's gonna be almost 10. I feel like that's a perfect age to kind of like instill that.
Oh yeah, that was like the era of for me like of the lemonade stands. Like
Mhm.
it was always something that is either like a natural thing for you or it's just like giving them the awareness. So like for you with your kids, like if there's not an entrepreneur in the family, like being able to show them in some way that like this is a different type of career path and that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. I think it's the way to go.
Yeah.
I remember I just had like a flash of a memory. One of my best friends growing up, we were probably, yeah, like fifth grade age, and we would do bake sales. So we never did lemonade stands. We always did bake sales, which looking back, I'm like, I wonder if all those sweet people who stopped in their cars, like driving down the street, actually ate anything we made. I really hope they didn't because it's probably questionable, our little 10-year-old selves. But I remember it was back in the day where Animal Planet was still a thing. Did you ever watch Animal
Oh
Planet?
yeah, I loved Animal Planet.
And they had this thing where I think it was like $40 or something, and you could like adopt, quote unquote, adopt a cheetah. Where I don't know, maybe you're like sponsoring it for a year or something, and then they send you like a picture and like its name and like a little bio. And I remember we saved up from our bake sales to adopt a cheetah through Animal Planet.
That's so cute. You guys like had like a mission behind your money.
Yeah, it was fun.
I love that. Did you say that like at the bake sale, like help us buy a cheetah? Help us sponsor a cheetah?
I wish I could remember. I don't know. I don't think we did. I think it was just like our own little private why behind the baked goods.
That's cool. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, and then lastly that I have on mine that we did together, which also it's like less level up, but not really. It was attending Engage. So we
Mhm.
attended Engage as 618 Studios and Taylor Petrinovich Cinematography. But while we're there, it's an opportunity for us to like meet new high-level creatives in the industry as like potential speakers to our mastermind students, to have on the podcast, all of that, so that we've built a little bit of like relationship and rapport with those people so they know who we are and it's not just like a cold unsolicited email in their inbox. So and it was really cool to hear like how many people that were at Engage listened to the podcast. And if you were there at Engage Santa Barbara, it was so great to connect with you and chat with you. And it just means so much that you guys pour a little bit of your time each week into spending, part of your day with us.
Yeah. We're actually within League going to be debriefing Engage on January 5th. So if you're listening to this and you want to hear all about it and chat with us, and then I think there were like 7 or 8 different League members who went to Engage this round, and we're all going to be like roundtabling it. Hop into League, get that application in, and sit in on that conversation. I think it's going to be really cool. There's a lot of, I would say, I feel like Engage seems mystified to a lot of people. Like they don't understand what it is or all that it entails. It seems a little intimidating, which it is. I'm
You're like, I'm going to be honest, it is.
it totally is. But chatting with people who've been several times, it's easier to digest and like incorporate that into your business plan. So I'm just going to say, yeah, hop into League and we'll chat with you about Engage. It was fun. I
That's
was
cool.
so I told you, I think when you picked me up from the airport, this is like does not make sense geographically, guys, but so we went to Santa Barbara twice and I would fly into Orange County, which is like past Santa Barbara going south. And then Kelly and I would make the 2.5 to 3 hour drive up to Santa Barbara together. And I was counting and I flew into Orange County to you 4 times in 2025.
I need to return the favor and come up north in 2026.
I was like, I'm so good at this airport.
Yeah, you're like, I know this airport better than I know my home airport.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I loved Engage. It was my very first Engage that I attended. I was like, why did I not do this years ago? I felt like truly in my element as a little extroverted butterfly. It was so fun and life-giving. And it was really cool also to like, I loved actually one of my favorite things were the breakout rooms that we did, like the breakout sessions. And I sat in on Julian Lever's that was all about data. And then I sat in on Steph Cove's, which was a lot about just like building relationships with like clientele. And she has a very discerning client where they're very private and she's really just like built her whole business on relationships. So I was really interested in hearing that one because relationships is really at the core what we teach our students on to how to build their business as well. And she said something that I feel like kind of changed me forever. She talked about how she has like zero boundaries, which I do think some boundaries are important, but she said, I don't mind having zero boundaries and working nonstop around the clock because it's just the way I'm wired. And I was like, oh, wow. I can totally see that in myself. Like, I think for so long, I felt the need to like apologize for working all the time or felt the need to like feel like I felt like almost sometimes people would like look down at me being like a workaholic. And I would always see it as something of like, what's wrong with me? Like, there's something wrong with me because I work so much. But then the way that she just worded that of like, it's just the way I'm wired, I was like, wow, I've never heard anyone say it like that before. And that makes so much sense. I think that really is just the way I'm wired. Like, I love working. I love pouring into our students. I mean, I love my family and I love my personal time too. But Paul and I were actually having a conversation about how, like, us pouring so much into our business and businesses like Level Up and Westmade Films and stuff, it actually makes like our family personal time even sweeter because we really can create like two worlds. Like I pour 100% of myself into business. Like when the kids are at school or we have our nanny here or whatever it is, like 100% of myself is going to that. And then when I'm like in my, mom mode in the afternoons and like before bedtime and doing the bedtime stories and all that stuff, I'm 100% in that too. And then people think it's weird that I put my kids to bed and then I go back to work, but it's like, it's just the way that I'm wired. And so it gave me this permission to not apologize or feel bad about myself or think that I'm like a weirdo by how much I work. And I just really, really appreciated that.
Yeah. James and I talk about that all the time. Speaking of hobby, you were like, you should start a new hobby. James is a big video game guy. Like in the evenings, he plays all kinds of video games. We have an Xbox. I don't know. Do with that information what you will. But he's like, you should have a hobby. No, I said I need to find a hobby. And he was like, Taylor, working is your hobby. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like work to you. You love it. Like,
Yes.
just embrace that about
Yeah.
yourself. And I was like, you're right. Like, it's noon on a Saturday and like the family's like gonna watch a little afternoon movie while it's raining outside. And I have my laptop out and I'm working and the time flies. Like, it doesn't feel like work. It's fun.
It doesn't feel like work. That's the thing. When we were in Santa Barbara, and I talked about this like in our newsletter too a little bit, was that like people asked us at Engage, like, how do you guys do all of this? Like, how do you do all of this? And it's like, it doesn't feel like work to
We love
us.
it.
We love it. We genuinely love it. And yeah, I think I'm going to start saying in 2026, like working is one of my hobbies.
It
Like,
is.
yeah.
It is, which is so it is kind of weird, like, for
But
being
is
honest.
it? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Like when I think that it's interesting because I think that as a society, we think of like work could never be a hobby, or we think of work as like an obligation and it's not something that like pours into your life or like brings fulfillment to you. And I feel like, you know, I don't know, how many people do you know that like genuinely love their job?
I probably can count on one hand, and that I would have fingers left over. Not
Yeah,
very
so it's
many.
pretty rare, I think. Like,
Yeah.
I think that they look at it as just like a means to an end. Like, I just have to work, I have to work. And then it's just like they hit the time, like punch the time card out, and like that's it. But like when you're a business owner specifically, it's just so different. Like, I'll never forget, this was probably like 10 years ago. We were like actually trying to talk to Paul's youngest brother about like going into, he was kind of like entrepreneurial like minded, and so he was thinking about like starting a YouTube channel and like doing stuff like that. And of course Paul and I were like, yes, do it, go for it. Like we're like already scheming the business. Like I'm sitting down with him, we're like, we have the business plan going. And he's like, yeah, but like, I don't want to do what you guys do. Like, cause we were in Montana for our annual Montana trip. He's like, you guys are like out on the porch and like emailing, and like you're out on the porch and you're editing, and you're out on like, your laptops are like constantly like on your laps and like you're doing stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, like, but it's different when you work for yourself. I could see that
Mhm.
mindset if you think about it, that you're working for someone else and
Yeah.
like you're building that person's like wealth and success. But when you work for yourself, you're doing it for yourself and like the betterment of like your whole family. And so it just feels different. And then, yeah, like you said, like in Montana, they're out playing like badminton and croquet, and like I'm enjoying watching them and stuff, but I'm loving just like having my laptop on my lap and like working on stuff.
Yeah. And it can be a little bit of an awkward conversation when people are like, "Take a break from work. What are you doing to take
Yeah.
care of yourself?" And it's like, "I'm doing the thing that I want to do. Leave me alone."
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I loved hearing that because it gave me this new permission to like view what I do in a different way. And it really validated like something that I actually didn't know that I needed validation from. So shout out to Steph Cove for that great session, because just that little phrase like really changed a lot for me. And if you're sitting here listening to this conversation too, and like you get told like through the family or friends that like you're a workaholic and like all that stuff, and you're like, yeah, but is that a bad thing? Like, I don't know. There's fine line for sure on
I
like
mean, if your
workaholic.
health is suffering and you never see your family and your house is filled with trash, then like maybe maybe you've crossed a boundary into unhealthy zone. But if everything else is like running smoothly, yeah,
Yeah.
you go, Glen
So
Coco.
you go again. Two for you, Glen Coco.
It's none for you, Glen Coco.
Oh, sorry. Wait, no, it's not. It's
Oh,
you. It's
it's two?
none for Gretchen Wieners.
Oh, and none for Gretchen Wieners. That's right. Oh, okay. I need to watch.
Two for you, Glen Coco. You go, Glen Coco. And then he's like, and none for Gretchen
You're
Wieners.
so right. I need to rewatch that movie. I feel like my oldest, maybe she's like 2 years like away from being able to watch something like that. Maybe three when she's 13, maybe. But I'm excited.
I remember going and seeing Mean Girls in theaters with like all my friends. And then there was even like girls behind us that we went to school with, like in their grouping of friends. It was it was so great.
It's iconic. I'm so glad Lindsay Lohan's doing better.
Yeah, she had a glow up herself in the last 2 years. So I'm happy for her. I would
Yeah.
love to see Amanda Bynes maybe get a little bit healthier.
I don't
She
know.
pops up on my TikTok here and there. I don't know. I believe in miracles. Maybe she could.
I feel so bad for her. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Maybe she needs to be taken under Lindsay Lohan's wing and like, I don't know, be helped a little bit by someone who's done it. Okay. We during our debrief series, we like dove deep into our events for the year.
That's true.
You want to talk about 618?
Yeah. So we did 8 events this year. I wish, to be transparent, we would have hit 10, but it just didn't really happen. It was just like one of those years that it didn't really like, we didn't quite get there. We did 11 in 2024. That felt great. I'm hoping for 10 to 12 this year.
How
I
many do you
current
have so far?
I currently have 4. And so we're looking good,
Mm-hmm.
with like lots of proposals out. So, and we're recording this like 2 days before Christmas. So I'm imagining like second week of January, like wedding planning will resume and like contracts will be like lined up and set out. Like this is such an exciting time. I think sometimes we need to realize like during the holidays, like people kind of take breaks themselves, even from wedding planning. And so that means typically like bookings and, contracts being signed and all that stuff, retainers being paid, slow down. And so January to March is so fun because that is like prime booking season.
It really is. Yeah. If you were ever going to pivot from working in your business to on your business and like the marketing lane, January is when we want you guys to do that for sure.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned you had a great booking average.
Yeah, we fell just under 18K for our booking average. So 17,700 to be exact. So that was amazing. I was so happy because I set that goal for myself early in 2024. And so I wanted my booking average to be 17.5. And so, and then it was cool to have it fall like 17.7. So yeah. What about you, Taylor? Business wise? I mean, you had your biggest wedding of the year.
Yeah, biggest wedding of my career. I mean, as far as build out, actually two really great weddings back to back, I would say, which was really exciting. Lots learned as far as navigating tiny little nuances when it comes to personnel, and hiccups, like wedding day hiccups, I would say. Like, so that was always great. I feel like every wedding you learn something a little bit new. Like, even if it's just like something so tiny, I feel like you can really work towards improving. I saw a quote the other day where it was like, if you look at the goal for everything that you do to gain experience, there is no losing. So like there's no failing because it's always about gaining experience. And I think that's like a really wonderful way to look at it. So even if you are sitting there and you are like, well, I booked this one for $3,000 less than what I was hoping for, or, oh man, I missed out on that wedding. It's like everything you're doing, you should be learning from. Okay, I just calculated my average. I was at 17,125 for my average.
Nice.
So
That's great.
yeah, we had somebody ask in our mastermind, when you're calculating your booking average, are you also including if you had like kind of low ball offers? So sometimes there's times when it makes sense to break your own pricing rules and to take something a little bit lower than your general minimum. And yes, we do count those into when we're calculating our averages as well. So it can bring down the average, unfortunately. But sometimes those ones that come out of left field where, ooh, that was $27,000, and that's not my normal, what I'm always booking, that can skew it the opposite direction too. So I feel like if you're going to count one side of the extremes, you have to count the other when you're calculating your average.
Yeah. Cool. One of the things that Taylor and I'll just like hint this a little bit, which Taylor doesn't know I'm going to hint this, but
Ooh.
we want to bring some more education on how everyone should be like appropriately raising their prices. Because we're finding that it's kind of the wild, wild west out there on like people not really understanding, and they're leaving a little bit too much up to chance, in our opinion. And so we want to be able to like create some kind of a system. And it's just something that Taylor and I talked about yesterday over a voice memo, while I'm like actually in the shower.
Unhinged.
Also.
I could hear the water.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so we need to do this, this, and this, and let's do 2 pathways for them. And then let's talk about, when this point in the year, they need to raise it by this much and this much. And I'm like, I'm in the shower, by the way.
As if it's not obvious.
Yeah, but we are excited for that because even from like this past mastermind round students, it was apparent that students are a little like there's just not enough education on like when to raise your prices, how to raise your prices, and then even like the gap in which the collections need to fall where it makes sense for the level of clientele that you're currently booking.
Yeah. Well, it's a topic that's filled with nuance. Like everyone has different goals. Everyone's in different stages of life. We have different ability to take on risk or the need to be really, really safe and secure and come at it from a conservative standpoint. Like there's so many variables. And so I think that the system that we're kind of creating right now, it's going to be like a choose your own adventure kind of thing where you can really kind of select which things apply to you and navigate that in the best way possible. I think the overarching theme with people is people tend to price themselves or raise their prices based on emotion when really emotion should have zero play in it. It should be 100% based on like logic and
Demand.
data.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that. We'll be rolling that out pretty soon, like Q1 soon,
Yeah.
of things. So that'll be great.
Yeah.
Okay, Taylor, anything else as we've wrapped?
Um, well, I mean, if people are still listening, I would say hello and wow, thank you. We're like 50 minutes in. So I appreciate you. I feel like we didn't talk about our personal lives at all.
I know we talked about the kids going older. I talked about my glow up a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, I will say, as much as I enjoy work as my hobby, I do need to figure out a way to like get back in the saddle, literally, in horseback riding, because that was like a huge part of my life growing up. And then even before I had kids, I also like got back into it again. And so I need to figure out setting those types of boundaries and things. Actually, in league, I sat in on a conversation about like work-life balance and how that looks, and it was really cool for like everybody to kind of share how they approach it, and everyone's a little bit different. And someone had said like, make sure that you are prioritizing like your own pockets of time to pour into yourself before you book everything else around, like, because everything else, it'll fill it all up. Like you'll find if you're saving that for the last thing, being an entrepreneur, which means like work is just going to fill up all of your time. But if you prioritize in like doing the hobbies or the little things like going to get the facial or going to get your nails done, if that like fills you up or whatever it is, even like time blocking out like when you need to like get outside and take a walk for an hour, putting that down first when you're planning out your week is so helpful. And I found that to be true too. But horseback riding is a big chunk of time commitment, especially to like where I would be riding is a solid like 40 minutes one way from my house. So if you look at like, we're looking at almost like 2 hours round trip in just driving time, and then probably 2 hours at the barn. It's like a 4-hour chunk. That's a lot of time to put towards a hobby. So it is a very time intensive hobby, but something that I don't know how I'm going to fit it into my week by week, but I need to kind of figure that out because I would like to start getting back to being active again now that my kids are getting a little bit older and I do have help in place and all that.
Could you sign your kids up for lessons, and then while they are taking their lessons, you can do it too, so it doesn't feel like it's like taking away from family time?
They're still too little. Like
Mm,
horseback lessons don't really start till like 7.
okay.
So
Micah's
yeah,
almost there.
like Mike is almost there, but they're still like too little for that.
Yeah.
Um, but then part of me is like, I feel like I kind of need to I would like them to ride more so probably my daughter. I think I would like love that because I grew up riding with like my mom and that was like such a big part of my life and I loved that. But I think she kind of needs to like see me doing it for her to get interested. It's still not even like a part of her world at all because like I don't do it. Whereas like
Mhm.
horseback riding was a part of my world from early age because my mom was riding.
Yeah.
So I kind of need to figure that out. But yeah.
I like it. Yeah, that's great.
What about you?
Um, I feel like I had my glow up year, which was very focused on like health and fitness. And then I do feel like, well, 2025 was a year of like coasting. Like I maintained, but I definitely did not improve anything as far as that. So I do, but I'm feeling it. Like, so I'm going to be 34 and I'm starting to understand when people say like once you hit 30 it's like all downhill. I'm like I have aches and pains and I feel like a lot of it is caused from being more sedentary. I mean, I do go on walks, but like that's the extent of my exercise right now, probably for like the better part of a year.
Yeah.
So I want to get back into it mostly for like mobility and longevity, not really for like vanity reasons, although like I think that's a wonderful reason as well. But it's like really so that my back doesn't hurt.
Yeah, your back
um
hurts really bad when you like sit for too long. You're like, I'll get voice memos from you when we've been on like coaching calls for like 3 hours and you're like, my back is killing me. I have to go out on a walk to like make it feel better.
Yeah. And you want to know what's terrible? So my birthday's in January. I got a massage at like a local massage place, and I signed up for a monthly membership, and
Nice.
I only used it one time, but I paid for it all year, and it does roll over. So like I can still use it, but I was hoping to cancel in January. And so like even me with the best of intentions, I was like, I'm going to like get a massage every month, and I'm going to sign up for this thing that I'm paying for to like force myself to do it. I still didn't do it.
How do we do it? Like, how do we force that for ourselves?
I don't know. Maybe it is just like as simple as putting it on the Google Calendar. Like it's there. No appointments can be scheduled. Like it is something that's being considered when like mapping out our weeks and our months. I don't know. But maybe also too, like it doesn't have to be all or nothing. So like maybe like, so for you, like maybe like writing every single week is so overwhelming, but maybe like if you start with once a month, like the third Friday of every month. And then maybe for me, it's like, well, maybe I should try to get a massage quarterly. Wow, this is like first world problem.
Horseback riding and massages. Wow, we sound so elitist. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, but it's I don't know. We're whole people too. Everyone who's listening here is a whole person. You all have your own families, you have your health, you have your business, you have your hobbies, which might also be business. And you need to like treat everything well if you want to be a well-rounded person, or else you're going to go crazy, you know? So, I don't know. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
So, okay, we can wrap this one up.
I can't just ride once a month. That's the problem. It was like even once a week is like, cause this was like my whole life, like everyday thing. And so once a week is like kind of bare bones in the riding world.
Should once you a month move somewhere and buy a barn and have your horse on your own property?
Like in Orange County, do I have $4 million?
Do you have to live in Orange County? Who said you have to live in Orange County?
I don't know. I think we're pretty set here. We were just talking about that a couple nights ago. I feel like we kind of jotted down some ideas over the past few years on like if we wanted to move back down to San Diego and do that. The problem is when you have the horse at your house, it's even more of a time commitment. You have to clean the stalls twice a day. You're feeding the horse, you're getting them out, like all that stuff. And then if you're paying someone to go and do that for you, then it's pretty much the same price as like the board that's already factored in for like the care of the horse and that too. So it's just a time consuming hobby, like I said. So it's not one of those things where you just like go to the gymnastics class for like 1 hour and you're done. Like it's like all day situations, half day situations. So.
Well, what if every time Paul goes golfing, you go ride your horse? Because it sounds similar in terms of time.
That is true. It actually is a very similar time situation. But I think it will get easier when the kids get older, because then it could even be like while I have a lesson, they're just kind of like sitting and watching and like hanging out rather than like needing childcare every single time I go and do that. So yeah, it can like be built into the family time, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of how our phone conversations sound, guys, so if you ever were wondering.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Wishing everyone the happiest of New Year's. I hope everyone has a safe and fun last hurrah of 2025. Next week, I would love to talk about what's on the horizon for 2026, planning things out, setting goals. I don't know about you, but there's no bigger thrill in life than buying a brand new planner for a new year.
Oh, totally.
And setting your goals.
For sure. I have my thing here of like my weekly thing. And like, if you're on YouTube, it's like on the like, what is on the back here? Oh, I think a kid like took a highlighter. Kind of looks like California.
It does look like California.
Anyways, I'm ready for a new one. I love my weekly planner. It's great.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.